If you live in Huntington, everything is tied to the plane crash.
Shock and sorrow have descended upon the town of Huntington, West Virginia, following the crash of a Southern Airways DC-9 jet.
The plane, coming down in light rain and fog, apparently clipped the top of one hill in its path, then pancaked into another.
November 14th, 1970, I was 6 years old. I can remember the sirens blaring. My mom and dad and brothers were watching TV in our living room, and I ran to my bedroom window and I could see the sky glowing red just a couple miles away.
The accident, the worst domestic air tragedy of the year, is also the worst involving American athletic teams. The campus appears to have entered a period of exhausted sleep.
Our destinies and our dreams were forever intertwined. We were forged in fire.
December 1970 was the first Marshall basketball tournament, and those guys had to play. They couldn't say, well, we lost our friends, we don't want to play. And they knew that burden was on them. And they brought fans back and allowed people to cheer again.
Mike D'Antoni and Russell Lee and those guys, they were a power and went to the NCAA tournament. And then in the interim, from the early 70s to 83, basketball wasn't really a powerhouse.
Huntington was an unusual place. There were things going on, yet it was depressed in so many ways.
You gotta remember those early 80s, the town went through, real hardship. A lot of places downtown left, some plants closed. It was tough.
The rail industry was taking a big hit. We lost a lot of population. There really wasn't a lot here to cheer about.
People were looking for something to, at least for a couple of hours, take their mind off whatever their particular problems were at that time, but also something to hope for and something positive, something you could be proud of, because that hadn't happened in a while.
And of course, Coach came in and boom, it was quite something.
First order of business for Marshall's athletic department was obvious: finding a new head coach. After an extensive search, the nod was given to Rick Huckabay, an assistant coach at Louisiana State.
The bottom line is win, and I know that. I may not look very smart, but I know what it takes.
I'd given him a book, the Bear Bryant book. Of course, I knew he could relate to it, and he did. So he quoted that.
I ain't nothing but a winner, and you're looking at the same kind of guy.
Over 4,000 fans got their first look at the new herd at the Midnight Special. The 90-minute session gave the players a chance to show off a little and gave Coach Huckabay and his assistants a chance to size up the team.
Rick comes in and he has all this flair.
He was out in the public. You could meet him out somewhere and he would talk to you and shake your hand.
You want to be his buddy, you know what I'm saying? You want to hang out with him.
I can remember him saying one time, check your ego at the door. The things that he always said to me was that we're not going to give you anything here at Marshall. You have to earn it.
Huck wanted to create excitement. He wanted high tempo, high intensity.
He demanded that if we're going to be champions, that we have to look it, feel it, and be it every day.
Yeah, we get that in the locker room. It's like, here's your tuxedo. Like, what are we doing? Oh, we're going to be standing around a Rolls Royce.
The man you're looking at in the tuxedo there will not have any problem finding a seat at a restaurant tonight in Huntington, West Virginia.
I did play-by-play on the Marshall WVU game. We had no idea that they were going to come out in tuxes.
And you have to have such bravado. You come out there and get blown out and you look dumb, and you look dumb in tuxes.
WVU didn't want to share the spotlight. Marshall was beneath them in some way. We brought them here, we kicked their ass, and it was glorious.
Well, we got a fight. Benches are empty. Look out.
And then, of course, there was a big fight there during that game.
Got a West Virginia player taking his jersey off.
I think his name was Timmy Austin.
He just walked off with this West Virginia basketball team.
For whatever reason, Coach Catlett grabbed him and got in his face about something, and he did not like it, so he's out of here.
And he is off with this West Virginia basketball team.
It showed us that not only were we able to compete and win, where we could actually take that other team and break them down.
That game with WVU certainly was a big shot in the arm. They all started believing we can play with anyone.
I want to win every one we play. I'm up at night trying to think, what can we do here and what can we do there? I'm possessed by this game of basketball.
We tried to find a way to bring some excitement back to the community.
10 seconds left on the clock. Laverne Evans took the ball, drove it down into the lane, and tossed in the winning basket as time ran out.
Those things just seemed to follow Rick around wherever he went. That just added to the whole atmosphere that made it so much fun.
And next thing you know, you're steamrolling through the Southern Conference, and it was appointment viewing.
It was a show. Attendance went through the roof.
If you weren't in Henderson Center during those games or watching Huck's Herd, you're missing out, because that was what Huntington was about.
He gave me a chance. I'm going to put everything I have on the line.
And Capehart blocked by Skeeter Roberts. Boy, did he get a great block.
The damn thing went in.
Yeah, I don't think it's really struck me yet. You know, it just sort of, it happened.
The funny thing is, so we go to the locker room and dead silence. No one said a word.
1, 2, 3, he had some marquee players, you know, the David Wades, John Taffs, and Skip Henderson.
Skip Henderson, he was our best player. He could do about everything you wanted him to do.
Henderson just going to hold the ball. And oh my goodness, 65 points, a new Marshall scoring record.
In order to us to get to what they now call the dance, you had to win your conference. And so the Southern Conference for Nashville was definitely very important.
And it was a home game atmosphere in Asheville.
We dominated Asheville. It was like a 3-day party.
When we scored our first basket, everybody threw toilet paper on the court. That's what I remember most.
I remember the year that we came down there with the $2 bills.
Somebody in the paper took a cheap shot at Huntington. So the word got around everybody's going to use $2 bills.
To show the impact that Marshall's fans were going to have on the Asheville economy.
Everybody went to the bank and got all $2 bills.
And I paid for something, and the waitress looks at me and goes, "Oh my God, you people."
Marshall broke the UTC press. Don Turney got the jam. And 30 seconds after that, Laverne Evans hits a layup off the fast break, and Marshall wins it. Final score 111-107, and the celebration was on.
C-H-A-M-B-R-O-N-S. What that spell? Champion.
I'll never forget when the plane landed at the airport there. There were literally thousands of people packed in waiting to cheer that team.
It was like we were rock stars. And to see those things, you really understood the importance of what we were doing here.
Getting the opportunity to come to Huntington, West Virginia. That's the best thing that's ever happened.
In 5 years, we went to 3 NCAA tournaments. We hosted an NIT game. Rick put us in a position to go to the promised land. That's what we dreamed about. And he brought that dream to all of us.
I was too young to really grasp it all back then. To the people of Huntington, Rick Huckabay was a fiery, flamboyant coach from Cajun country. To me, he was just Dad. He'd already won everywhere he'd ever coached, so this was nothing new to my family. But like so many legacies in college sports, this one also came with a cost.
The final act wasn't what it should have been.
That was the single biggest mistake that's ever been made in Marshall athletics.
Well, the end should have been different. The NCAA, the way that situation was handled, it cost him being a coach in college.
I didn't see anything Coach did that wasn't out at trying to help really poor kids. That's what pisses me off.
Did he do the things that he was accused of? Probably. Nothing was ever proven.
Some boosters went a step or two beyond what they were allowed to do.
Putting money in the pockets of sweatsuits he gave to players.
Now, NCAA rules are NCAA rules, but he was open and honest about it, and all he was trying to do was help those kids.
I mean, he wasn't writing multiple $1,000 checks to these guys. He was giving them $50 because the school's going to be closed over Thanksgiving weekend and they needed to eat someplace. People forget it was against NCAA rules for these guys to hold a job.
As great coaches do, they try to make their players better. And I always think that's what he was trying to do the whole time he was here. Now we're looking at 40-some years where the impact of those players is still felt.
That's what this story is all about. It's about what he built, what it meant to this town, and the price he paid in the end.